everyone. Today I'm working with a pile of 6x6 papers that were given to me by someone who no longer does paper crafting, and they're all in blues and beiges, soft sort of blues and beiges colours, and I've gone through and coffee stained them because they're a little bit bright. So that's what I'm starting with, and I'm wanting to make a journal that's got some feature pages and some signatures in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 of these. What I'm going to do, these are going to be the feature pages. So I want to find 2 pieces that will be the bases. So I'm going to choose these 2. And these are going to sit back to back and join together so that they make a pocket. And so what I want to do is, there's no real up or down, I want to put a 3/8 of an inch score on the top of one piece and on the bottom of the other piece. So now that that's scored, I'm wanting to put some double-sided tape on. I want the tape to be on the coloured part so that when I join them together, they're going to sit like that. So let me just do that. Okay, so I'm just going to line them up so that they're level on all 4 sides. And I'm just going to join the top for the moment, or one side for the moment, and then on the inside, this part will be adhered to the hinge, and this part will end up being a pocket. So I just want to reinforce that seam just by using a little bit of tape or paper, whatever you like. I'm just using sticky tape, and I'll do that on both sides. This is only fairly thin paper. And then when I'm finished, I will do that on the bottom as well. So now that I've got that one piece joined, just trim that a little bit. With my other papers, what I'm going to do is make some page flips. So I choose, just trying to find which ones are going to work. So I think I'll do those 2 on that side and these 2 on that side. Because I've used a 3/8 of an inch fold, I need to reduce these by 3/8 of an inch, and if there's a right way and a wrong way, I want the 3/8 of an inch to come off either the top or the bottom. So on these it doesn't really matter. Keep these pieces, so those 2 are 3/8 of an inch shorter. And now what I want to do, so they're all the right height, that's everything's the same height now, is I want to bring back my scoreboard, and I'm just going to score. I want them to sit so that they'll fold over like that. So I'm going to score probably 1/2 an inch. So that one will sit on that side, and then this one again 1/2 an inch. and that one will sit on that side. Look at these two, the same, 1/2 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other. Okay, so this is my base piece. These are going to be adhered so that they sit in and then fold open. So what I want to do now is put the double-sided tape on this side. And then I want this to sit right up to that crease. So that it's tucked in that way and lined up at the top. And then I've just caught that top piece make sure, sorry, I'll just make sure that's good, and then pull that tape off. Okay, so I've got that side and that side. And peel the backing paper off. And seal that. So what we end up with is basically it's a sleeve. It's got 2 pages that flip on that side and 2 pages that flip on the other. And as I said, I've reinforced one side with sticky tape. Which side did I do? That part's all been reinforced with tape. So I'm just going to do this side. And so I'm just going to open it and flatten it out. And then just place that tape in. It's a bit hard to show you this, but I'm just putting the tape inside. Again, this is just, because this is going to be a pocket opening, this will just reinforce it. And the same on the other side. So all 4 of those seams are reinforced. Okay, then if you want to, I'm going to round the corners of the outside pages. Now, these pieces that we cut off, these were 3/8 of an inch. What I'm wanting to do with these is I'm going to make little hinges to place up here. So I'm going to get them all lined up. And I want them to be about 2 1/4, 2.5 inches. So I'm just measuring on my board. 2.5 inches is about there. And then you don't have to do this, you could leave them square, but I'm going to round these as well, just using the small corner rounder. Do 2 at a time, just to give that nicer edge on them. So there's my hinges. Because I'm using this colour paper with a vintagey look, I'm going to ink around mine, so I'll do that quickly. Everything's inked inside and out on both sides, and now I'm going to use these little hinges and just reinforce the top of the fold on these tip-in pages, and I'm going to use them in pairs and just reinforce this join here. And I'll do that on all the pages. Okay, so there's my finished piece. It's going to sit onto the hinge on this side. So this will be the spine. There will be a hinge that will sit on there, and it will flip over, and you've got the double-sided flip on that page and the same on that page. Okay, so I'm going to make 3 of those for this journal. So there's 1, 2, 3, and now I want to make the hinges. I've cut a piece of scrapbook paper, and this measures 9 inches long, and the height of my inserts are going to be 5.5, and this is the scoring pattern. I'll give you a close-up shot. So I've marked that on the back for you. I've already scored it, and basically I've got 1 inch either side, which will fold up and glue to the cover. Then I've left a little gusset, just 1/4 inch, and that will give me room to add some little bits and pieces, so these will be a bit thicker, so that will give some room for that to expand. Then I've got my 3 hinges, and then 2 little 1 inch spaces, which is room for me to add a signature, and that's going to be my cover. So if I fold these all up, and then I'll show you how to make the hinges. So with the hinge part, you've got, I'll do the middle one, you've got 1/4 inch either side and 2 1/2 inch pieces. So I'll show you what it does. So if I fold on those lines there, then the hinge, the center of the hinge is between the 2 1/2 inch pieces, and then that's going to leave me a space for my signature either side, and that will become the hinge. So I need to add double-sided tape to glue the hinge shut and all the way to the edge. It only needs to go halfway. Burnish that really well. So that's one hinge. Do the same on these other ones. On the outside ones, just remember that there's that 1/4 inch gusset. So you can make a similar sort of series of hinges and adjust. For example, you might only want to have 1 signature, you might only want to have 2 hinges, and so that just helps you to figure out how to do that. So there's one hinge, there's two hinges. Now, I haven't used this method before, so I'm not sure whether it will be easier to stitch in the signatures before you put in the little feature pages that we've made. I'm going to put the pages onto the hinges first. I don't think, because it's not a very large piece that you're left to work with, I think that should be okay. So there's my 3 hinges, and I've got room, just fold that one up there. So there's my 3 hinges, there's my 2 signatures are going to stitch into there, and I've got the little 1/4 inch gusset on, and this piece will stick to the cover, and the same on the other side here. So let me show you how to put one of these pieces on. So figure out which part you want, make it, this is the right way up, this has got text on it, and make sure that this is the right way up. It is. So I want to put this little hole here over that hinge, and just to help me get that in there, I'm just going to trim, remember I've got a 1/4 inch and then 1/2 inch. I'm just going to trim, it's a bit hard to see, down to that 1/4 inch line, just a little bit, just taking a little bit off just to make that easier to put it in. And that means that this is going to slide in much easier. And then I want to leave the edge of this piece here, I want it to leave that 1/4 inch part of the hinge free to move. So it's a bit hard to show you until I've done it, but if I fold it here so that you can see, the 2 1/2 inch pieces in the middle of the hinge, leave that 1/4 inch there, and I want that line is where I want to end my glue. So as the hinge sits up, you can see that leaves me a 1/4 inch free. The end of this page will sit level with that 1/4 inch, and that means that this not only projects out a 1/4 inch, but it leaves that freedom to move, because I'm going to add bits and pieces to this piece. So I need to add some tape just up to that 1/4 inch line. You could use wet glue. And do that either side. Burnish that really well. And then I'm just going to peel the tape off both sides, just holding this piece in mid-air. Make sure I've got the text up the right way. And then I'm adding wet glue because I need a little bit of wiggle room so that I can line up the edge of my add-in page with that 1/4 inch line. I'll add that to both sides. Make sure this is up the right way, and it is. And then just slot that in and try and get it to sit just on that 1/4 inch line. So I'm just opening it with one hand. Okay. So that's the first one hinged on. And I'll do that with the other two as well. It helps actually to fold on that 1/4 inch line. You could even sit it on. We'll try that with this one. Fold that down so that it's sitting flat, and then it will make it easier to slot that one on. I'll try that this time. Okay, that worked really well. So that's the 2 hinges on, and again on that 3rd hinge. Okay, so there is my little journal made there. There's my 3 feature pages that I've got plenty of room to work on, to add bits and pieces to. And I've got a space here and a space there for my signatures to go in. And then this part here and this part here, these will fit onto the cover. So that means that I end up with a journal cover that's 2.5 inches wide in the spine, and it means that these lay nice and flat. The way that I've done this is they'll lay nice and flat because they've got that little extra 1/4 inch there, and it gives me plenty of space to add bits and pieces to them.